What's happening, everybody? I'm in a little different camera orientation today, so forgive me if I look like I'm staring off into space here because I'm usually looking at that camera, but today I'm going to look at this camera because I wanted to show you some of that thing right there. So, hope everybody is doing awesome. It is Friday. I do not know what date it is. It is Friday, March 18th. So, was unboxing. Seems like I get pallets in weekly, multiple pallets weekly. And I'm unboxing and finding things, and I keep putting stuff over in piles. And it's like, God, people need to know about this. People need to know about these things, and people need to understand, about this. And I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store myself here and want to bring it. So I had a little bit of time before I get out of here. And so, hey, I finally said, dang it, let's do a live because I want to do lives during the day as I get spare time. Here's the funny part is not really a lot of spare time during the day. Go figure. And I'm very blessed. That's not a complaint whatsoever. So I might start doing some kind of Friday afternoon thing, maybe make it semi-regular. Was planning on closing the store about noon on Friday, so it might be a little earlier than that. So hello, everybody. And I've noticed I'm getting a different audience here during the day than we get on Monday night. So hello, everyone. So as you can see by the title of this, we're talking about unloader blocks or remote mounts for the unloader, or as I like to, and that's what this chunk of metal is here, I affectionately refer to this as part number 2950. So this is good old 2950 right here. But what this does, it's a solid chunk of metal. It's drilled through. I'm going to take one of these off. This is really just for mounting right there. So this hole, as you can see, it does not connect to the main channel whatsoever. That's just to put a bolt in for mounting on there. But this chunk of steel is threaded there and threaded there, and it makes a channel. I lost my pick. Dang it. Anyway, goes the channel down here, comes out there. So why this is important is because of this unloader right here. Now, this pump doesn't care where the unloader is. And I'm backing up. I hope y'all can still hear me okay, volume-wise. So this unloader we know what the unloader is, right? The unloader, let's go back to basics here real quick. Basic. Unloaders, whenever, you let off the trigger, the pump's got to do something with the water. So it's going to take this unloader, the spring's going to come up on here. It's going to start shooting water out of this into a tank. So things don't blow up and go real bad. The pump doesn't overheat. So you've got the inlet side typically on the bottom of a pump and the pressure side typically on the top of the pump. This is a pressure pop-off relief valve. The pump itself doesn't care if the relief valve is over here, and it doesn't care if the unloader is over here. It doesn't really matter. High pressure is going to come out this hole. High pressure is going to come out this hole. It doesn't care if you're feeding it from this side or this side on the bottom. It's going to take water in from both ways. I've even seen people double feeding their pressure washers on the bottom. So there's our basic understanding of unloaders. Excuse me. Hey, Scott, what's happening, man? So if you've ever seen your unloader work and actually gotten up next to your unloader, you'll notice that whenever they're engaged and unengaged, engaged, unengaged, you're on the trigger, off the trigger, I'm going to have to bring this down to you, I guess, Scott. I'm just got to write sold to Scott on it. But you'll see there's movement on here, and you'll get some shake and you'll get some movement. That's never good for your pump. Your pump's already kind of moving around. You get your pistons doing that right there. This is also moving too and exerting a lot of force on itself. So they're on the hydraulic fittings. But again, this guy right here, the unloader, does not care where it's mounted at. Okay, so you can take a jumper hose like this. This is, I believe, a 2-foot jumper hose. Right here, I've got a 8-foot jumper hose. And you can take this jumper hose, screw it into your pump, screw the other end into this, and then put your unloader on top of that. So what you've done now, and then bolt this to the frame of your trailer. This can be bolted to a rail, could be bolted to a metal block. It could be bolted just really wherever you want it to anywhere other than this right here. Because at that point, this block, this solid chunk of metal, takes the force of moving around. The unloader takes the force whenever it unloads and starts shooting stuff through the bypass, instead of transferring that energy to the pump right here. So that's what could make your pump live a little bit longer, because you're not getting any up and down and side force from an external source whenever you remote mount your unloader block. It's real simple to do. And again, instead of having this configuration right here, you would just simply take off your unloader from this. Scott, I won't mess your machine up, I promise. You'd run a jumper hose from here to your unloader and your remote mounting block. Okay? And then your hose barb would come out of here. You could hook your pressure washing hose directly, your male. If you put a female quick connect on here, you're doing it wrong. If you put your male plug right here, hook your pressure washer directly to that. Or you could have another jumper hose going over to your reel. And I saw somebody over here mentioning, Ryan said, use those blocks to plug our hoses instead of running through hose reels. Absolutely. More and more guys are realizing they're using their hose reels as just a storage area instead of a running high pressure through them, because, well, high pressure will make them stop, will make them blow eventually. So yes, one of the reasons of doing that, so it's going to keep some pressure off of this. It's going to keep some movements from happening whenever your unloader engages and disengages up and down, side to side. And if you don't see, I know I'm holding the unloader on there wrong, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, just kind of reach over and look at your unloader as you're working during the day. Cycle your trigger a few times and you'll see this thing is moving, and every time it moves, it jerks a little and tweaks a little bit, and it is causing some force to go through this whole assembly. So at this point, you're moving this away from that, you're mounting it to this, attaching that with a hose, so it's taking that kind of force and exertion off of there. And Jeff, yes, actually we do sell them. Number 2950 for one that's milled out to 3/8. While we're on the whole discussion of this as well, and let's say we've got this, and I don't care if you don't do that, you don't. Hey, run it through your reel. I don't care. Just some ideas that may help you get a more life out of it. Something that this area on the pressure washer hose along in this and where it goes down to the ground. So it's coming off of your truck or your trailer. And somebody mentioned a whip hose on there. If you put in like an extra 10, 12-foot leader hose or whip hose on there, because again, this is the area that's going to move. This is the area that jerks back and forth. This is the area that tends to shake the most. So a 10, 12-foot jumper hose where it comes off of your truck out of here and hits the ground, and that's making contact with the area, that can also be a big hose saver for you as well. Just get a short, length of jumper hose, 12 foot or less, and it's a sacrificial part of the hose instead of blowing a hole towards the end of your hose where it's either getting in contact with the ground and jerking back and forth and wearing off. Kind of like if you think about your pressure hoses, a lot of times where they wind up blowing is the area in the ground where you're dragging them around also with the gun. So that first like 6-8 foot, that's typically where we get a lot of breaches in our hose versus the very middle of the hose. Same thing on the reel side of the pressure washer side. That's a lot of places where we wind up blowing it there is where it first comes into contact with either the truck or the ground or some kind of steel frame or metal frame on there. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of the hard 90s, but you can make these mounting blocks a straight through mounting block, I'm sure. In fact, I'm not sure. Yeah, I am sure. I don't know if we have them, but I know it could be made. Chunk of steel, CNC milling, good as gold. Scott, real storage is best. Only use what hose you need. Will get you more hose life instead of flowing through all your hoses. It'll also, especially whenever you're talking about flow through a soft wash system, it'll definitely get you more flow through there using only the more volume, more distance, more flow, everything. If you only use the hose that you need versus all the hose that you have. And I agree, Scott. Martin saying whip hose with restraints prevents a lot of issues. Yep, I agree with that. All right, guys, thank you for your time. Again, just wanted to talk a little bit about these remote mounting blocks on there. Can save you a little bit of headache and aggravation with your pump. The trade-off on there, you got 4 or 5 different connections that you're adding on there. So that is a problem. You're going to have more failure points with extra hose, with the extra block, with that. You've got more failure points, but you're not putting as much wear and tear on those failure points either. Jeff, I don't have a website for Florida. However, you can reach the store at it is 850-701 wash. So that is 72 whatever the hell wash spells. 850-701 9274. Got it. I am smart. 9274. Feel free to give me a call. We are closed on the weekends. Too many naked pictures of me out there, Scott. Sorry. Can't do it. Anyway, you guys have an amazing weekend. Wash on, guys. I will see you. Thank you, Lewis. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye.